going to refresh. This is what we're doing. We're pretending that the show started at 9:30 because I think that there was no audio before then. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to do this. Hello and welcome to the Haunted Doll Mall at Lost Signal Society. What is Lost Signal Society? Lost Signal Society is a collective that makes strange and unusual media. We have a podcast. We have some short films. Just Google that phrase. You will find us. I am excited tonight, though, to present to you our live stream, which is the Haunted Doll Mall. Every Tuesday, I dig into eBay and really look for some of the weirdest and strangest haunted dolls. Now, each haunted doll tends to have its own little story, which we can read and discuss in the chat. We also have some fun games. We can spin a wheel and decide what we are going to look for, because we have an open mind when it comes to haunted things. We also look for haunted objects. There's haunted mirrors on eBay. We just are wet with options. Sorry if you've ever seen my now defunct show Flower Hour, you would understand what a wet boy is. But moving on, guys, here is our first haunted doll of the evening. This, guys, is Lucille. Amazing Lucille, also the name of my cat. So just to let you know, all of these haunted dolls are on eBay right now. All of the stories that I read are actually written out as part of the eBay listing. And we're going to take a look at the different pictures, look at the stories, and we're going to talk a little bit about the haunted dolls. So kicking it off tonight is Lucille, or Lucy. So Lucy was a psychic and a witch who grew up in the late 50s and 60s. She was an only child who grew up in a small town in Maine. She was always drawn to witchcraft and had psychic leanings from an early age. As a girl, she read her friends' palms and tarot cards and is still very active around my cards. I actually do know how to fix that now. I will not fix it now. We'll just have to deal with a blink every 30 minutes. As a girl, she read her friends' palms and tarot cards and still very active around my cards. Sorry, I did that twice. She also had dreams of acting and being in the entertainment industry, which led to her studying theater in college. She was very beautiful and charismatic. She was in several smaller horror movies, which is where she met the man that would become her fiancé. Dun dun dun. He was a producer on one of the movies she was cast in, and although he was much older, they struck up a whirlwind romance. It wasn't long before he proposed, and Lucille agreed to marry him. But around the same time, her childhood crush came back into town, and she was conflicted. This is a whole-ass Hallmark movie. By the time that happened, her fiancé had started showing some sides of himself that were very controlling and toxic. And she had reservations about the marriage. Her own intuition was telling her that it was going to end badly because he was very successful and very wealthy. Her family encouraged her to go through with the wedding, but she got cold feet prior to the ceremony and then called it off. Shortly after the engagement had broken off, her fiancé learned about Lucille's crush being back and assumed they were together, and that's why she'd called the engagement off. Lucille does not remember the circumstances surrounding her death, only that she was found drowned in a bathtub, and she is absolutely certain her fiancé was responsible, even though nothing can be proven and he died only a few years later. I feel like we could probably, if this was a real haunting, I think that knowing that she's a actress who was in some smaller movies that were being produced by somebody who was wealthy enough that people were like, you should marry him even though you're not sure, like you should go through with it, who then was drowned in a bathtub. Like, I think we could probably figure out who that was if that was a real person that existed, and which I'm not sure. Maybe this one really is haunted. Right, drowned in the bathtub. That's where we were at. Died a few years later. Lucy ended up in a vessel. Now, a vessel is what we call our haunted doll, actually, like the porcelain space. that the spirit occupies. Lucy ended up in a vessel that resembles her at the time of her wedding, because day is the last memory she has of her former life that is clear. When I acquired her for the reliquarium, she came with a crucifix around her neck. Perhaps because of her paranormal activity, I have left it on, as it seems to bring her comfort. I think she has a crucifix around her neck because this is clearly a First Communion doll. Despite her tragic endings, Lucy is still an incredibly upbeat and positive spirit who is interested in passing along her knowledge of witchcraft and other psychic arts. She's particularly interested in divination and mediumship and would be a wonderful companion for anyone wishing to pursue that path. So basically, like, this dead actress will tutor you in paranormal shit if you want her to. Just seems like a very exciting proposition. Some spirits take a while to warm up, but Lucy isn't one of them. From square one, she made her presence known and is one of the most positive, playful spirits that I've ever encountered. She has a very good sense of humor that comes through in the EVP session, and she moves my crystals around a lot. I believe that she draws energy from them, and part of why she's so active is because I have crystals everywhere from my shop. Of course, you own a crystal shop. She also has the reliquarium, so I'm assuming that this is going to be a treasure trove of wonderful haunted dolls to explore. If you work for the reliquarium and you want to come appear on the Haunted Doll Mall, we are officially booking guests. Yes, that's right. Officially now we can have double guests. You know what? Before we hear a little bit more about Lucy, actually I'll finish Lucy and then we'll show you something. Anyway, she's one of the most playful spirits that I've ever encountered. She has a very good sense of humor that comes through in EVP sessions, and she moves my crystals around a lot. I believe that she draws energy from them, and that's part of why she's so active. It would be beneficial to have crystals here near her, particularly crystals from my shop. No, I'm just kidding. Just particularly crystals is what she says. Amethyst, smoky quartz, and rose quartz. Lucy is a fun and vivacious spirit. And several people have come into my reading room where she's one of my dolls present and have reported hearing musical laughter coming from her direction. I've yet to hear this in person, but I have heard a woman's laughter on EVP sessions with her. My pets are very drawn to her as well, and she seems to really enjoy the company of animals. She would prefer a home with someone that she can communicate regularly with, as she does not do well alone, a trait that carries over from her past. She is an extroverted spirit. So I think that we should look for some other items here from the Magic Reliquarium. This beautiful. This particular doll is listed for sale for $135. So if you would like to explore the world of haunted dolls with this haunted doll, that is all that it will cost you. So in case you were thinking, you're like, man, it's Tuesday night, I'm really bored, and I have all these haunted doll stories that I need to share with the world. Well, don't worry, because what do I have for you? I have something fantastic. You can go to our form. It's in the chat. You can fill that out, and you can submit your haunted doll stories, and you can potentially be a guest on this famous, illustrious show. Why? Because I found a monitor in a dumpster, and now I can do double guests. That's right. You can join me and just be right there next to me, looking at haunted dolls, having a great time. It would be great if you had some haunted stories. Also, you can potentially spin the wheel of haunted dolls, and who doesn't like to spin the wheel of haunted dolls? In fact, I would go so far as to say that this is a great time for maybe us to spin the wheel of haunted dolls. Although I'm gonna and we're gonna look at the wheel. You know, guys, that was so fun. Let's do it again. Spin that wheel. All right, cursed. Oh, sweet. Sweet. So this is a great part of the show when we look for an object that is not a haunted doll, is in fact a cursed object. Now, what is a curse? A curse is simply a ward directed at someone's face. What is a ward? It's a spell of protection. Do as ye will, and harm ye none, and if harm it does, do as ye must. Would you ever buy a haunted doll? Let us know in the chat. All right. Oh, also, I want to shout out all the music that we're using, obviously. All of this music is by the incredible Brian Sangmeister. Really, super talented guy. If you're enjoying this cinematic kind of music, please check us out. Don't check us out. Check him out. Brian Sangmeister. He's on Bandcamp. He's everywhere. It's Sangmeister. I'll put that in the chat at some point. We've got a cursed object for us. Alright. So, this ring is listed at $4,000. That's right. $4,000. Now, eBay has, they do have rules. So they always have to say that the item is being sold strictly for its tangible purposes only. Due to policy, the entire, even the haunted dolls, they always, anything that has to do with metaphysical, it'll always say the story is connected, the connected story is for entertainment purposes only. Everything is sold exclusively for the physical item that you're getting. But it's not true. Like it's like a lie that we all enter into together. Right? You know, it's very it's like a group delusion. So are you ready to welcome the amazing GREED ring? This amazing spellcast item is probably the most powerful wealth item that you will ever encounter. It's bound to an extremely haunting ring, and you can see the exquisite beauty of the ring in these photographs. Included with this amazing spellcast ring is the ritual that's needed to awaken it, because it's dormant when you receive it. This is the first time that they have ever offered this ritual plus relic combination to the general public. Previously, apparently, it's only been available by private sale. With this ring is the true secret reserved only for exclusive members within the highest rankings of the Illuminati. That's why it's $4,000, okay? You're getting the ring. You're getting all the secrets of the Illuminati. Be the first to step into billions of dollars, extravagance, wealth, riches, and abundant materialistic treasures that you could ever dream us of. Yeah, you heard us right, billions. So they're like, listen, this is worth, I feel like Kanye should probably buy this ring. I mean, not because he already probably has $1 billion. I don't know, he probably doesn't. I don't know, nobody really knows how much billion is. That's a fact. It's kind of just a group secret. Only a trained Grand Master within the sect can perform this intense and painstaking ritual to full fruition. The ritual is only around for a short time, and then it goes back into the vault for good. Like, I love this ad. Like, act now, or your opportunity to gain the wealth and power of the Illuminati is going to go right out the window. But just so you know, this has been used for centuries by the richest and most elite members of the Illuminati to harness even more money. That's right. For $4,000 in an eBay purchase, you can have all of these secrets. Literally anyone with, by this logic, anyone with $4,000 can have $1 billion. Okay. This is what you get. This is what's listed. And by the way, just to reiterate, for anybody who's new to this stream, I am reading all 100% real eBay ads. I am not, as I go through these, I always tell you when the story begins, but I am truly reading you exactly what it says on the site. Anyway. Where were we? Oh, right. I'm sorry. We were all joining the Illuminati, and we were trading our $4,000 to $1 billion. Okay, so with this purchase, you get insane wealth with all the material riches you desire. Investment securities, jewels, exotic cars, island getaways, millions of dollars, vast riches, stocks, bonds. Be among the elite in society. With GREED, you will achieve it. This ring will require a signature when delivered, and included is its spellcast charging bag or box and personalized welcoming ritual. So yeah, that's exciting. I don't really see how that is cursed. I feel like that's more blessed. So... I'm gonna skip the Luciferians, I have to be honest. I find them sort of humorless. Sorry, Aventine. Alright. So we're gonna go back to the classic next. We're gonna do a little haunted doll. Haunted doll. Guys,
it's streamy weather. Oh, I waved a crooked wand along an icy pond and the frozen leaves. Her hair was like meadow grass on the tide.
why can't... Oh, you can't enlarge this. You cannot enlarge Alice's pictures. That was a little bit of Alice but Waits. My apologies to Mr. Waits. Alice is a vessel for a spirit of a young girl born Madeline, who was said to be fond of Lewis Carroll stories. She was gifted the doll on her 7th birthday, and the year she's given me is 1994, although I believe the doll is older than that since she belonged to her grandfather, who was a collector. Okay. So, Alice, the doll, has the spirit of Madeline within her. Alice was owned by the grandfather, and apparently during her death, she entered a doll that was owned by the grandfather. Okay, so as a girl, Alice would dress up as her favorite character and would insist on being called the same name, as she'd been obsessed ever since reading the book when she was little and realizing that Alice looked just like her with very light blonde hair and blue eyes. She would have tea parties and make her brothers and parents attend as often as she could. Alice lived in a nice, comfortable home in Massachusetts. All right, massholes. With her 3 brothers, her parents, and eventually her grandmother, who came to live with them after turning ill. Alice's grandmother was her best friend, and the older woman would tell her stories all the time, both of the fairy tale and autobiographical variety. Unfortunately, Alice's life was tragically cut short in a horseback riding accident. Because Alice is such a young spirit and she was not able to see her family before her death, she has trouble coming to terms with her death and is often confused about things, like why she isn't able to go back to her family and why things are different now. This can sometimes lead to her emotional state being fractured, and it affects the environment around her, usually in this form of lights. And people feeling a general sense of unease when in the room. However, these episodes are never violent, and they tend to be short-lasting. She is still a very happy-go-lucky spirit for the most part, and gets along well with the other spirits in my collection. Alice is particularly fond of cats, the colors blue and white, cartoon movies, books, and more books, and she likes playing games. Hide and seek is her favorite, and that would be a good way to establish a rapport with her. Alice is a very sweet spirit, and we will often hear giggling and whispering coming from the room she's in. She's quite adept at projecting herself in the corner of your eye and will sometimes be seen rounding corners. Spirit orbs are common with her as well. As I said, when she's upset, there are little electrical disturbances like flickering lights. The best ways to communicate with Alice are with pendulum, dowsing rod, and via dreams. We've done work with spirit box as well, but she's not quite used to those yet. Due to her curiosity and strong interest in communicating, I do believe that this is something she could get better at over time. She's a natural with pendulums and dowsing rods, and she's very good at dream projection. So Alice really seems like a great buy if you're in the market. She is reasonably priced at $77. But if you're looking for something more high-end, we have another wonderful piece from this collection at the Magic Reliquarium. I hope that you guys like clowns as much as I do, because who doesn't like a clown? Besides for most people that are in therapy for clownophobia, colorophobia. Oh, wow. Actually, my mother did sort of have a porcelain figurine that was like this when I was growing up. But let me tell you something. Clowns don't come cheap, and this one is $636 this evening. This is why, though. You're not just getting a really creepy clown doll so that anyone who comes over to your house immediately feels uncomfortable and wants to leave. You're also getting a haunted vessel possessed by the ancient Djinn spirit Kokaj. Okay, so here's the deal about Kokaj, the ancient Djinn spirit that you can buy on eBay that lives in this haunted doll clown. Have you got all that? I hope you're keeping up with us. From the son of Kokaj's most recent owner, Kokaj was originally a very powerful Djinn, but when they were enslaved by a magician, what we would call a sorcerer, in case you didn't know what a magician is, it's a sorcerer, their power was diminished. Kokaj does not feel they have a gender, so they use they/them pronouns. I really appreciate that. This is actually something I'm encountering a lot in the haunted doll listings, so I appreciate that as our language surrounding gender has changed, that has also apparently progress that has been made in the spirit world. The sorcerer used Kokaj's power to craft a doll that would allow him to channel Kokaj's powers even further. He bound the Djinn to the vessel and completely took control of their powers. He used Kokaj's powers for selfish gain and against his enemies, which is against their generally amiable nature. Like, Kokaj is just a nice Djinn who doesn't want to fuck with people, and this guy was totally abusing their relationship. This kind of feels like the plot from Aladdin, but, you know, also really digging the double. I actually don't think this is supposed to be a clown. I think this might be a Venetian Carnival doll. It's actually Carnival tonight. Happy Mardi Gras to the one person who's watching right now. I hope that you are having a beautiful Fat Tuesday. What am I giving up for Lent? I'm giving up giving a fuck. The original vessel was destroyed when Kokaj's first master was killed. But in a weakened state, Kokaj was unable to return to their realm, and they were trapped in between for many, many centuries. The spirit since found several other practitioners who were capable of binding them, sometimes willingly and others not, until they came to be in this vessel fairly recently, in their ancient perspective. From the moment Kokaj was transferred into my care by the son of the most recent keeper, an older collector who kept a range of darker spirits, from Djinn and Kodam to demons and Volk, they have been incredibly interesting to work with. Yes, Kokaj definitely has some more mischievous side, but in the 3 years that they've been with me, they've never once been harmful or malicious towards humans or other spirits. They will, however, tend to hide objects to be found around the house in unusual places, and they enjoy spooking people who are not really used to those experiences. They once shouted quite loudly through a spirit box session, have slammed doors, made lights flicker, and rooms will often become much colder around them. When they have their power weakened through each successive binding, despite having their power weakened through each successive binding, Kokaj is still a very powerful spirit and definitely capable of making their presence known when they so choose. From all the little mischievous tricks they like to play, I've also have items that have gone lost for years turn up out of the blue, and they always feel very energized when near them. Kokaj gives the respect that they are given. Actually, Kokaj seems great, and would make an excellent familiar to an experienced witch or keeper who knows what they're doing and doesn't shy away from activity. Kokaj is sometimes referred to as a piper spirit, which means they draw in other spirits that are bound under them, and I have tasked them with directing my servitors in the past, which they're quite eager to help with. They're basically a coordinator and help me keep more negative spirits in line. Okay, so let's talk about let's use this opportunity to talk a little bit about the occult, and I can finally use some of my, these are great posts. Okay, so what is a servitor? In the occult world, a servitor is basically a tulpa or a thought form that you create that is to execute spiritual tasks and other tasks for you. They are usually set up and sort of, it's a little bit of a set it and forget it situation where you're supposed to create them and then let them go into the world to do your bidding, re-energizing them every so often depending on what kind of world you live in. So this world you live in by being what kind of occult, a kind of occult structure you are practicing. What is your path? Are you a chaos magician? Are you a hedge witch? Whatever, like, that's what I'm talking about. Your way of your path on the craft. So servitors are kind of your like automated spirits, and then Kokaj, a Djinn, then like a higher level spirit, could then supervise them. And this is the thing that I always find interesting about all this occult stuff, right? Is that it seems incredibly bureaucratic, right? There's always like there's this hierarchical structure that seems to be inherently reflected as above, so below. I don't know. Why would that be? It seems kind of interesting, don't you think? So if you were looking to work with Kokaj, you want Kokaj to be your coordinator, and let me tell you, it's a tough job to be a coordinator of a bunch of servitors. They're not very smart. They're just doing what their master is bidding. You need something like Kokaj to help you truly manage all of the other demons that you have summoned. So the great thing about Kokaj is, as a coordinator, excellent communication skills. In fact, the poster says that this is one of the most adept spirits that they've ever come across. Spirit boxes, spirit boards, pendulums, dowsing rods, dream communication. They are big on the notion of consent, which I like. But if this is something the keeper's open with, they will happily communicate through this medium as well. Basically, okay, so they ask permission before they invade your dreams. Really appreciate that. It's what I look for in a servitor, in a Djinn coordinator, and in a partner, really. So, as mentioned, what happens around Kokaj? Flickering lights, temperature drops, doors and cabinets slamming shut, objects going missing, others are reappearing, sometimes things getting moved around, and radio interference. Definitely would not recommend this spirit if you're a new collector who's wary of these things. Like, if you bought a haunted doll, wouldn't you want it to be like a haunted doll? Just saying. Just saying. I wonder who's out there. I really do. Will we ever get another follower? We'll find out next week on the Haunted Doll Mall. Alright. You know, I think it's time to bring back the spinning wheel. And see what the world has in store for us. Cursed. We're looking for another cursed object. Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. Alright. Okay. Alright, guys. Thank you for waiting. I apologize for that little pause. I'm just getting a great cursed object for you. That's right. It is, in fact, live. Right here. Right now. The amulet of the hound. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. You see, what at first glance appears to be little more than a strange trinket from some far-off land has become the bane of my existence, and I wish to be rid of it at once. How I came into possession of this amulet is unimportant, but I will offer its description as follows. So welcome again to the Haunted Doll Mall. We have spun the wheel of weird, and we have landed on cursed. So we are right now taking a look at this cursed amulet of the hound. It appears to be in the form of a great winged wolf or a hound carved into jade in a somewhat exotic way. It is a beast crouched atop a sphere with a human skull. So that's it. It's just cursed. It's made of resin. And it's unimportant, but it is sort of important, because if we learned anything on the Haunted Doll Mall, it's that when we're looking at these objects, we're not just looking for the object. We're looking for the story. We're looking for the real history or the fake history of creatures and spirits out in the world. So I think that, I'm a little disappointed that there's no backstory to this. I feel like you can't sell a haunted item unless there's a backstory. I think that's really what you're buying. Even though it says that it's, hey, this is for entertainment purposes only. Like, well, then, great, it's for entertainment purposes only. Then you have to entertain me. You have to tell me the story. One person on eBay who does a great job of telling the backstory is the Haunted Reliquarium. They are a seller of haunted dolls on eBay that we've been spending a little time with this evening. Just to remind you guys, if you have a story about a haunted doll or a haunted object and you would like to potentially be on the show, or maybe just submit your story, you can do so in the chat. There's a link to a Google form, and that is how we are doing our first round of reaching out to people and talking to people about their own haunted experiences. So next up for you guys, I have a great haunted doll. This haunted doll is $115. And just to remind you guys that as I am reading these stories of these haunted dolls, this is not something that I'm making up out of whole cloth. This is in fact simply reading the eBay post itself. These are how these come. They are posted. They have the stories attached to them. And, and so we go through, we find the best of these, and we share them with you so that you can enjoy the beautiful haunted doll community without having to go on eBay. So we did our curse thing. Hold on, let's get rid of our wheel for just 1 second, because we don't need it right now. We're not gonna spin it. We're not gonna spin it until we're done talking about Melanie. And who is Melanie? Well, Melanie is this haunted doll. She's a very positive, very active spirit. She is like a little burst of sunshine in any room that she's in, and this carries over from her life on Earth. Melanie was a bright and active young girl that was born on June 4th, 1922. Her father was an electrician in Connecticut. I can't, literally, I couldn't make this up if I wanted to. And I'm a writer, okay? Could not make up something this boring. I'm just kidding. This is great. Thank you so much for writing this. This is fantastic. It's just like it seems like they have these pleasant lives until suddenly they die tragically. So let's see where this goes. That's right, where were we? Yes, her father was an electrician in Connecticut, and her mother stayed home with Melanie and her 3 sisters and younger brothers. Wow, that's 5 kids in that family. Her favorite memories of her mother is her making pies that she would set on the windowsill, and the delicious aromas that would lure Melanie and her siblings back in from happy days spent playing with their dog, Skip, in the backyard. She is particularly active whenever I'm baking, and even has little bits of food go missing, so beware, this spirit has a sweet tooth. Apparently, Melanie grew up in a cartoon where you would put out a pie on a windowsill, and it would lure in children that were nearby. Oh, guys, here's a turn. There's always a turn. Unfortunately, as happy as Melanie's childhood was, there was some time when things were quite difficult for her and her family. The family had to leave their beloved home due to the Great Depression and move out west with relatives in Idaho to survive. Melanie greatly missed her childhood home and friends, and as a result, when she was a little older and had a chance to move back with her grandmother when she was just 14, she took it, because she's brave and adventurous, and this spirit of adventure led her and a couple of friends to go exploring in the woods. And playing around nearby a river close to her grandmother's house. Melanie never learned to swim, and she drowned when she fell in the water. Although she was just shy of 15 when she passed, Melanie has come to terms with her passing and understands that she is a spirit, and I believe this is why she's so adept at communicating with the living. She's very eager to share her memories of positive events, and several visitors to my house who have no psychic ability whatsoever have said that they are drawn to Melanie. Noticing her strong energy. She has strong Dorothy energy. She communicates primarily through dreams and also music in the ways mentioned before. What? Melanie is a vibrant spirit with lots of light and positive energy to share. She responds well to anyone who's kind and just an all-around wonderful companion to have. But because she's so active, she needs someone who will cherish these positive events and not be spooked by them. Her feelings were hurt by the last home she was in, where they took her playful actions, such as playing with the radio, as something frightening. She was just a joyous spirit that wanted to make others happy and not frightened. She loves animals, so if you have pets of any kind, she'll be absolutely thrilled. It really is too bad, poor Melanie, for $115.20 which to be fair is an extremely specific amount of money. Sorry, I'm just pouring myself some tea. Yes, I pretty much drank a bucket of tea while I do this. It's the only way I can stay awake. No, just kidding. I just really like tea. All right. It's time to once again spin the wheel of shit. I'm sorry, of haunted stuff. Here we go. What'll it land on? Cursed? Oops. What? 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 What'd I do? What'd I do? I fucked it up. There we go. Spin the wheel! Oh, this is host choice. This is part of the show when I get to talk about anything I want. Anything I want. Well, whenever I get the chance, what I really like to talk about, I guess, is high strangeness. Things that are so weird that there's never quite a good explanation for them, even years later. I think my favorite example of this, and listen, if you're in here, I gotta assume that somebody's here that's been here before. If you're ever in here and you're like, I'm literally the only person here, you've told this story before, just feel free to let me know in the chat. Oh, hey, look at that. I know that person in the chat, so this person's definitely not heard this story. Hello. All right, so we have spun the wheel of creepy shit. It has landed on host choice, which means I get to talk about any spooky thing that I want to talk about. And that means that I'm going to talk about Sam the Sandown Clown. Now, who is Sam the Sandown Clown? First of all, you should know that he's not actually like a scary clown or sort of even a scary creature. You know, a lot of times when people have encounters with strange things, it's very unsettling. And but this encounter happened with a bunch of kids, and it actually is it's sort of I don't know, it's like cute. It doesn't seem like it wants to hurt anybody. It just wanted to talk to some kids, and it was sort of lonely. It sort of looked like a scarecrow a little bit. But let me tell you the whole tale of Sam the Sandown Clown. So the Sandown Clown was a strange creature that was encountered by two young children who were vacationing at Lake Common Sandown on the Isle of Wight in May of 1973. So these kids are playing down by the river, and they hear a sound that sounds like an ambulance siren. And they sort of were drawn towards the sound, and as they wandered over across a footbridge over a stream, they met with this creature that you see with you before you. They called it a cross between a clown, a robot, and an alien. So it definitely looked very strange. They hear this sound and they go towards it, and as they approach it, they see that it's like they're watching it through the trees, and they see it sort of like playing with a book near the water, and then it drops the book into the water, and they're a little bit nervous about it, but they're kind of intrigued. So they're describing the face that it was 6 feet tall, and it had more or less like normal human proportions: 2 arms, 2 legs, a round head with identifiable features, similar to a normal human, but then like Its skin is very white, has the consistency of paper. Its hands and feet possessed only 3 digits each. Its face seemed to be crudely painted on. It almost sort of seemed to be wearing a clown costume. So after they see that it, it's like kind of like falling and like acting really silly, they approach it, and it starts to talk to them through a little microphone system. And they ask what it is, and it says, it takes out a piece of paper, and it has written on it in the wrong order the words, "I am all colors Sam," and it points to the letters, the words one by one. So it's all written on the board. Goes, "I am all colors Sam." So at that point, it's like, "Come with me, children," and of course they follow it, which to me seems insane. I think I would have been terrified if it was me. But they go over and they go to this little shack that the creature has built. It's a 2-story shack, and in the inside of the shack, it is all of the wallpaper has dials on it. It is, and they start to ask him some questions. The floor was made of metal. The clown's demeanor was shy but friendly. It told the children that it was frightened of humans and that it wouldn't defend itself if it was attacked, which seems kind of strange to say. I wouldn't defend myself. It told the kids that it drank water from the stream after it cleaned it, and it gathered wild berries, which it ate in a very weird way. So it would thrust its head forward and move the berries back and forth between its eyes, and then it would move. So it's like kind of doing tricks for them. It could write in English using a pencil, and then it asked, so the kids were like, "Well, are you human?" And it said it was not. And then they asked it if it was a ghost, and it said, "Well, I'm not really a ghost, but I am in an odd sort of way." All the other questions that it was asked, it answered by just saying, "Well, which feels like a weird thing. It feels like something if you were an alien and you came to this planet. Like, I just feel like it's an alien dressed up in a clown costume. It's like my only potential explanation for what the Sandown Clown was, but just one of my favorite spooky, weird stories, because it occupies a space that I like to call high strangeness, where something isn't quite a ghost story. It isn't quite, it isn't quite a story about an alien. It's just something that's sort of in between. Something that's so weird, it's high strangeness. High strangeness could also be a bunch of ghost hunters who smoke weed. Next up, we're going to go back to haunted dolls, because we like to alternate. This haunted doll is $99, and her name is Adriana. Now, if you're just joining us, I just want to remind you that this is the Haunted Doll Mall, which is a meeting of the Lost Signal Society that happens every Tuesday at 9 p.m. We go through the eBay listings for haunted dolls, and we find some of the weird stories that get posted with them, and we read through them. I basically go through a lot of these dumb ones, so you get the best of the best. So strap in, because Adriana, of course, like all of our dolls, has a weirdly haunting, tragic story associated with her. So, are you ready? Because Adriana is the spirit of a young woman who worked in a Colorado saloon in the 1860s. She's what's known as a soiled dove. Adriana was known for her extraordinary beauty and her piercing blue eyes. She was also a songstress who sang along with the piano player at the saloon and became something of a regional celebrity. She became a siren spirit after her death, and in life used her charming talents and beauty to draw the attention of men from all walks of life. Adriana is a very playful and flirtatious spirit, but she does not like most men due to the fact that she has seen the worst in them during her lifetime, and she was killed by a jealous patron who was angry that she refused to give up her life to be his despite his immense wealth and power. She was a headstrong woman who made her own way in life, and it's all about female empowerment. This poor woman was a prostitute. I mean, not that you can't be a sex worker and be all about female empowerment, but a woman in 1860 in Colorado in a saloon, I don't know if she was making that choice. Anyway, I digress. She would be an excellent companion for a witch who can handle her strong energy. She's not hostile to men who are faithful husbands and fathers, but has been known to run off the unfaithful lovers of those who lived with her in the past by her mischievous behavior. So, if you think your man is cheating on you, highly recommend that you purchase Adriana. She's available on eBay for $99 flat. Buy it now shipping. She will tell you if your man is cheating on you, which seems like a great benefit. While she's very much an active spirit, it is very much on her terms. If you respect her, she'll respect you in turn, and she's more than happy to communicate to her heart's content. She's active with spirit boxes, and sometimes you'll hear a woman singing when she's around. She's also been known to move things, and animals seem particularly aware of her presence. She loves cats and is responsive to music. And so just that you guys understand, all of these stories that I'm reading you, they are actually the stories that are associated with the haunted doll. So I'm not making any of this up. This all comes straight from the internet. It is a strange, wonderful world of haunted dolls, or vessels, as they're referred to within the haunted doll community. All right, we're going to just jump right along. We've got another great haunted doll who is strangely priced at $93.36. But unlike Adriana, who will tell you if your man is getting with somebody else, Zira is not here to play. So you need to understand that this is not for beginners, okay? In fact, they're very clear about this doll not being for beginners here. Do you have what it takes to connect with this powerful spirit? Look into her eyes and you will know she is calling you. Zira is what's known as a hag type of spirit, and that's different from the term that the way it's used often in popular culture. They are very powerful, very wise witch spirits that can be malevolent towards anyone that their bonded keeper directs negative energy towards, which is why they are not for beginners. There are many other spirits who help with magical instruction, but a hag is not to be taken lightly, and entering into a bond with one is not something that most people are ready for. That said, Zira is a steadfastly loyal companion for the right person who will respect her and be given respect in return. She has much to teach in the dark and magical arts. She is a shape-shifting entity who can communicate through dreams, pendulums, EVP sessions, and really any form she chooses. She is one of the most powerful spirits I have ever encountered when it comes to magic, and is definitely drawn to the darker practices, although she is more than capable with manifestation and other neutral practices. During her life, Zira was an alchemist and the wise woman of her village, in what's known as in the modern day as Romania. She was visited by noblemen and peasants alike for her hexes and wisdom about the dark arts. She was targeted by several zealous men who wanted to persecute her for her beliefs, but it didn't go well for them. But she lived to be a centenarian, which is uncommon for her area. So, basically, she was a badass. People tried to mess with her, and she just did not let them. I will say that it is very important. This is the only doll, by the way, that I think I've encountered where it's very clear about her not having a tragic death, and yeah. I will say it's very important to maintain a relationship with Zira that is based on mutual trust and respect, and this involves gifting her with her favorite incense regularly in order for her to remain active. Shapeshifting entities are not as heavily bound to their earthen vessels and have much more control over their levels of activity. This is the only reason she's not listed as high activity, because while she is often one of the most active vessels, it depends on the energy and respect you give her in return. So yeah, that is what's going on with Zira, a powerful hag entity who, if someone messes with you, she will mess with them. Honestly, this is what you do, right? First you get the haunted doll named Adriana. You bring her in. Then you get the haunted doll that's named Zira. You bring her in. You have Adriana, who can tell you if your boyfriend's cheating on you. And then once you know all your negative energy that's being projected towards him, that goes through Zira, and she projects all that negativity, and it's a 1-2 punch. I'd also like to throw something out here. In the time that we have been, so tonight we decided to focus on Magic Reliquarium on eBay because they have some really great backstories that they've put up with their postings. They're a brand new company. They started literally just this year. We just found them, and they just opened their doors on February 25th. They had 9 items up for sale when we started, and now there are only there were 10 when we started. Now there's only 9, so they're going fast. Don't wait. Sorry, I'm just turning the music back on. Bear with me. All right. All right. I've got your next haunted doll up right now. This is Miyasi. Thank you so much for joining us this evening on the Haunted Doll Mall. This is, of course, the place where we go through all the haunted doll posts on eBay, and we look at them and discuss them here. And it's an exciting time to be alive. So this is, since we just came from a hag spirit, which was like a real high-level haunted doll, we're going to back up to a more entry-level haunted doll. This little $111 beauty is a fascinating entity for anyone looking to get into spirit keeping, or for the seasoned spirit keeper who's looking to expand their collection. She is a watcher, a rare type of angelic spirit that is a distant relative to the Djinn. These spirits are 100% pure, positive, high-level energy that operates on a high vibrational plane. They are tasked with serving their chosen keeper, and in particular, this watcher spirit specializes in protection, astral travel, clairvoyance, clairsentience, vibrational alchemy, which is when you transmute, obviously, to higher frequencies, and luck. She is all about true, genuine positivity and has a strong angelic presence. Miyasi is especially fond of selenite, animals, and, believe it or not, TV shows. She loves learning about human culture, even though she finds it a bit amusing at times. So let's talk a little bit more about Magic Reliquarium. The owner claims that they are a psychic medium from a long line of psychics and conjurers. I am using a unique blend of my mixed cultural heritage and natural-born intuitive abilities to perform a variety of psychic readings and to have developed a reputation as the local psychic and witch lady in my area. For generations, the women in my family have always been aware of anyone in their area comes to them who needs a psychic reading or conjure work, and as a result, we've ended up being a safe haven for haunted items that people no longer want to deal with. We call this collection our reliquarium, a safe haven for haunted items such as spirit dolls and other vessels. So they basically have a spirit doll orphanage, which is great because somebody really needs to be providing that service. Disclaimer, and this disclaimer is always included with any sort of haunted doll. While I very much believe and am passionate about the work I do, I am required to say that this is for entertainment purposes only, and I am not responsible for any paranormal experiences that you may or may not have. I do everything I can to provide a thorough background of each doll so you can make an informed decision about whether you're a good match for each other, but please be aware of the potential attachments that come with the items. Don't purchase these items as a gag, or if you're going to treat them with the same respect and care as you would treat a person. If you're going to send this vessel as a gift, please mention in the customization box or send me a message request to create a gift message printed on vintage style paper. Please note that most of these vessels have blemishes due to their old age and also because of the spirits within. That's why I have blemishes. All right, we're gonna continue on, and we're gonna, I think it's time, we've done a couple haunted dolls. I think it's time to, again, spin that wheel. Oh my goodness, what a delight. That's right, the wheel of weird shit, when we get to spin a wheel and decide what we look at next. And it might just be another haunted doll, but that's part of the beauty of the wheel, is that you never know what's next. Host choice. We actually did a host choice tonight, so we're gonna spin that wheel again. Tick. Demon doll. All right, guys, get your ducks in a row because it is time for a demon doll. That is when we find a haunted doll that is possessed by, or allegedly possessed by a demon. This is shockingly common in the haunted doll market of eBay. Tonight's demon doll is Czar, an ageless, negative, demonic entity. And look at that. If that doesn't say evil, tiny pirate, I don't know what does. This is Czar. They're an ageless spirit that is admitted to being a demonic entity. Their vessel is 7 inches tall. Czar is not for someone who is inexperienced. In their last home, the spirit was causing family members to have evil thoughts and visions. When trying to communicate with the spirit, I got very lightheaded and felt sick to my stomach. I would suggest you keep their vessel inside a salt circle in your home. Noises of walking and scratching are common with the spirit. There's not a lot I can list about them because this spirit is very secretive and does not like letting people in. I'm gonna get rid of the wheel here. Be sure you're ready for an intense spirit before adopting. When you get them, don't forget to give them an offering and light a white candle and some incense to welcome the spirit into your home. Before deciding that you want Czar, you need to realize that by having a Czar, you're welcoming a spirit into your space. That's right. Some people think of these experiences as negative and scary, like seeing or feeling a presence in your home, lights dimming, strange sounds, or feeling touches while no one is there. These are all normal and do not mean the spirit's negative. It just means that there is a spirit in your home. Like, aka, like, don't buy a spooky doll and then get mad when spooky stuff happens. Due to eBay's policies, I must list that my dolls are for entertainment purposes only, but they all have a responsibility and require much attention and care. Please don't bid unless you're ready to commit. Be sure you want your spirit before adopting. I do not accept cancellations or refunds. So, all right. So we're coming up on 10:30 here. It's an exciting night here on the stream. We have found some really great haunted dolls. Really exciting stuff. I do have I do have something interesting. This is something I've never seen before. But because, you know, this is a new account, I think it's worth highlighting just because I've really never seen a post like this. So this post is that you basically pay this woman $50. This is the woman who has the haunted doll orphanage. If you pay her $50, she will use her intuition to select one of the haunted dolls in her reliquarium for you. If you're new to spirit keeping or easily frightened, recommend selecting a doll with a medium level of activity. If you're curious or comfortable with paranormal events, just go for the high activity. So I just think that's sort of an interesting wrinkle that you can actually have a you can have somebody actually purchase or pick what haunted doll is the best haunted doll for you. It's basically like a haunted doll stylist, which really is a service that we all need. All right, next up I have Lisa. She is a haunted doll, obviously. Ooh, this picture won't load. Maybe she is haunted. Okay, here we go. Oh, wow. This, before this child was cruelly murdered and put in the body of a doll, she loved to ski. I think she might have something in common with our only viewer right now. So meet Lisa. Lisa was 12. God, these are so sad. She loved the outdoors and especially loved to ski. She was on the slopes from some of her first memories. She was really good and loved ski contests. One day she was skiing with older children and one of them pushed her out of the way. She ended up hitting a tree and hurting her head quite badly, and she was in a coma for 3 months before her parents left her to pass. She loves winter and the cold hitting the top of her nose. She communicates with dowsing rods, with pendulums and bullet lights. Please ask questions before purchasing. I'm happy to answer them. Please realize that by adopting Lisa, you're potentially inviting a spirit into your home. They are not toys and should only be handled by adults. Light a white candle. That's right, guys. Don't forget. I feel like anytime they say light a white candle, I should take a drink. Tonight I'm having a probiotic green with ginger. You are receiving the tangible doll pictured above. I ask that only adults purchase my dolls. I do not accept cancellations. Wow. You know, $28. 29 really, but there are 4 people watching this doll in the past 24 hours. Shipping is like $12. Seems like kind of a lot, but for a 7-inch vessel, you know. Ooh, here's a real weird one. This actually very much reminds me of a doll that my mother, not a doll, it's a little statue that my mother has of 2 old people sitting on a bench. There's not a lot of information or story about this. It just says it's a very rare fairy godmother type doll that has some residual positive energy on it, which I feel like is like anything you buy in a thrift store is gonna have. I mean, it's gonna have some kind of residual energy of some type. Oh, also, that's right. If you're watching us and you're liking what you're seeing, you should give us a follow. We're trying to get to 50 followers so we can make it to affiliate. I don't really know what that means, but here we go. Alright, guys. It's getting late and it's Mardi Gras, and I live above a New Orleans themed bar, so we're gonna do one more haunted doll and then one more spin of the wheel. Our last haunted doll for the evening is Haunted Bear Evelyn. She is very evil. Look how evil she is. Hello, everybody. Meet Evelyn. She's as cute as she can be, but be extra careful with her. She can make someone very ill/sick, and she will make you feel cold as well. This bear definitely carries something with her, and whatever that is nothing but evil. If you want her, she's yours immediately. I've had her for quite some time already, but she now needs to go to a new home. If someone wants to take her now, I bought her in an estate sale last year. I'll ship with a tracking number. Any more questions, you're welcome to private message me. She is very evil. She's just very evil. Look how evil she is. I like they give just that she can make you sick. Like, no actual, this ain't no Edith. All right, so with that, we're gonna pop that wheel back up. We're gonna give that wheel a spin, and we're gonna see what adventures it has in store for us. Sorry, I can't help it. It's the Merce Cunningham in me. I just love to randomize. That's right, Merce Cunningham, the fairly obscure choreographer. What a reference. Okay, it's the chat's choice. Well, congratulations, our one viewer. We have chat's choice, which means you get to pick what sort of haunted item we look for next. You can literally, if you can comment in the chat, literally any item, we will find a haunted one and tell you about it. But I do not think that anybody is going to put anything in the chat, because I do not think that anyone is actually watching. I think that this one viewer is probably a bot. So, with that in mind, I am going to spin once more. All right, it's host choice. Host choice means that I get to do whatever I want. And sometimes that's telling you guys about something like the stand down clown, and sometimes it's about telling you guys about just another haunted doll. But this is not a haunted doll. This is a tiny haunted dog figurine. This tiny dog figurine came from a haunted house in Judsonia, Arkansas. The dog figurine is clay and is 2.5 inches tall. The chair is almost 7 inches tall. These haunted items came from a home that was being demolished in Judsonia, Arkansas. One of the workers said he had the strange urge to save these 2 items and place them in his truck. He was shocked when he began feeling a presence in his home. Not knowing what to do with them, he ended up giving them to a friend of his, and I ended up with them later. There's a little boy's spirit attached to these items. He's around 7 years old, and his name is Hunter. The house was the one that he died in many years before. His spirit reached out to the man to take these items to save them from being destroyed. If you like collecting haunted items, like I do, then you will want one of these. Some people think of these experiences as negative or scary, but that just means that there's a spirit in your home. They're normal. It's normal to see flickering lights, strange sound, or feeling touches when nobody's there. Due to eBay's policies, of course, this is listed as being for entertainment purposes only. But they all require responsibility and attention and care. Please don't bid unless you're able to commit. Be sure you want your spirits before adopting. I do not accept cancellations. No personal checks. Wow. Well, guys, what a night this was. We have 2 new followers. I hope some people stop by. I'm getting better at doing these for longer periods. I'm going to aim for longer streams as we continue on. But I'm also getting better at not having to take a bunch of breaks and but I also forgot to turn my microphone on for the first 10 minutes. So, you win some, you lose some. This is a learning experience for all of us. If you're here, if you stopped by, thank you so much for joining. We're gonna go out with a little short that I like to call Spring Forward, mostly because it's called Spring Forward. We're gonna do a little big push for this again because we've got daylight savings coming up, and this is a PSA for vampires to remind them about daylight savings time. So yep, really doing great. All right, so let's watch this together, and then I'm gonna go. All right, guys. From our Lost Signal Society family to your family, have a great night. Give us a follow. We're at Lost Signal SOC on Twitter. We're Lost Signal Society on Instagram. LostSignalSociety.com. I am your host at Chris Creature on Twitter. Have a great night, and keep it weird.